The cultural experience is fast becoming internationally renowned as a provider of high-quality, expert-led, escorted and individual tours and holidays. Combining their considerable knowledge of history and culture with expert guides and their wealth of local contacts throughout the world, they create a unique experience. At the heart of the cultural experience is Alan Rooney, a long-time travel industry professional with a passion for history.
Well, the cultural experience came into being last year. It was the brainchild of myself. I previously ran a company called Midas Tours, and then I ran a company called Holtz Tours, both of which were specialists in military and general history tours. And I had a great deal of experience of taking people around to these places and seeing what a rewarding experience it had been. And the opportunity arose last year for me to be able to form the cultural experience and offer those kind of tours again. The job of the cultural experience is to bring history to life, and that's military history, that's general history, that could be architecture, that could be archaeology. It's taking people to where these events took place, interpreting them, and that's a very important aspect of the holiday that you have with the cultural experience is the expert that's leading the tour's interpretation, and equally the participants' interpretation and their response to the expert or guide's interpretation itself.
If the enemy has any sense, they're going to protect the breach, and Philippon was a man of great sense. And these breaches were horribly defended, not just by French soldiers who were up there. He'd set various traps and other things in the breach.
I started these holidays simply because I couldn't quite understand from what I was reading how things fitted together. I mean, I think it was the Duke of Wellington that said at one stage that the story of a battle is like the story of a ball. No one person can actually say what went on throughout the entire experience, but to actually pitch yourself where those events happened and to be able to combine that with eyewitnesses' accounts and expert interpretations allows you to be able to gain a greater understanding than you can do just sitting at home reading a book or doing some research on the internet. One of the most moving experiences of my life was when I went to visit the tomb of Philip II in Macedonia, which had only been excavated at Vergina a few years ago, I think. I'm not an ancient historian, so don't quote me on that, but it was to go down there. You could go down and enter the tomb of Philip II. And as I walked away from that tomb and I turned round, I felt as if I was actually standing in the footsteps of Alexander the Great, because he would have been the one that probably closed that door for the last time. And as he closed that door, he too, 2,000 years ago, probably would have turned around and had taken that same glimpse of those doors that were closed behind him and then walked away. And it was an eerie, spooky moment to actually think that I was standing on that spot, that somebody is, you know, as important in history as Alexander the Great had stood. And I always shared that moment with him. So that was a really weird, eerie, rewarding experience to be able to be on that spot and to understand the importance of being on that spot.
Words cannot describe the experience of walking the ground, examining where things happened, reliving, in a sense, what my ancestor lived through 140 years ago.
Over the coming years, the cultural experience is going to be offering tours in areas such as architecture and archaeology and art and music. These are areas that would benefit from the formula that we've developed so well in our military history and general history tours. The small groups, 6 to 20 people, expert-led. The locations that we're staying at being sympathetic with the subject matter itself. Getting access to buildings and people and events, concerts, exhibitions that maybe the general public don't get access to or can't spend as much time at, or have the opportunity to have those events, exhibitions, pieces of art interpreted for them. Give them the opportunity to be able to engage the expert in two-way conversation and further their understanding. As I say, it's a formula that's worked really well in our general history and military history tours. It's a formula that I'm sure is going to work well for archaeology, architecture, music and art. The great thing about running the cultural experience is the people that you get to speak to and the people you get to meet. I'm meeting people with the same passion as I've got for history. You know, one of the greatest things is taking a phone call from somebody and starting to talk to them about the holiday that they might be going on. And before you know it, it's not just a conversation about the holiday, but it's a conversation about the historical events that we're going out there to discuss. And I learn as much from my clients, hopefully, that the clients learn from me. And I, always welcome a phone call from them. It's a shared experience, and I really enjoy that interaction with the clients. It's been able to extend my hobby to my work, and it's a great pleasure and a great honour to be able to do that.